Up above, the sky is shrouded in dark gray clouds, and below that murky sky, the jagged gray peaks of mountains rise and fall. The only thing not obscured by the grayness is the light emanating from the abyss, the place that should be darkest. This source of light draws a small rabbit closer, its dazzling green light piercing through the large tree trunks. It seems like a scene from a movie set up with artificial lights for a night shoot, but it's not. The light is emitted from a pregnant willow tree. It's unclear which species the willow tree mated with, as its offspring, round and pink, are undoubtedly shunned by other trees. Even as it speaks, it has already given birth. The newborn willow's eyes open, and as soon as they do, they shine as brightly as car headlights illuminating a vast expanse. It snarled angrily, coughing and gasping loudly, thinking it had already suffocated to death. Are you overdoing it? What's there to exaggerate about? There's no nose or mouth to speak of, yet you're making a big fuss. They finished and then switched to yelling. Who am I? Where is this? What desolate place is this? The willow tree, from when it was just a seed to becoming a single mother, has always been in this forest. How come its baby doesn't know this place? If it's curious, it must be some protagonist from another world who's been reincarnated. But why did it reincarnation to willow tree? Looking around, all that could be seen was a dark, deep forest with no human shadow in sight. Then, as they looked up, they saw two glowing green tentacles suspended in the air, realizing that where their hands were raised, two green tentacles appeared. It screamed a terrible scream. If it weren't for screaming, there must have been a psychological problem. If it were me, I would have fainted. This is definitely a dream. Normally, I'm overexerted, so I'm paranoid like this. I have to close my eyes. Then he woke up and everything would be fine. He reassured himself and fell asleep. It wasn't okay. He slept a few more times and woke up still as a tree. He fell into panic for the second time. What the hell was going on? He remembered that at that time he was drinking water and choked to death. Oh my God, it was so difficult, but he could do it. The male lead died much more stupid than normal people. He kept complaining. Why did he reincarnate into a tree? Why can't he be a handsome guy with six-packs? How can he flirt with girls? I won't be able to lift weights with my hands anymore. I'm so stupid that I'm already reincarnated, and I'm still demanding. If I say another word, I'll be kicked to the underworld. Do you believe it? Whined for a while, and then started to worry about whether I have to be a tree all my life. Don't be sad, brother. You're not a tree, you're a tree that can talk. Not only can it talk, but it can also live again. What kind of tree has eyes like that? Since reincarnation, he has been able to clearly see the scene here. Thanks to his two eyes, he knows that he is under an abyss stuck between 200s of meters high mountains. Being able to see, he never thought about it. But besides the eyes and brain, there is nothing human anymore. The egg has no nose, so now he can't smell anything. He can only feel it. He sensed his surroundings with 50 vines of the willow tree. However, at this time, he can only use one rope. He stretched the only controllable rope up to the sky and tried to use the other ropes with him, but failed. The remaining 49 seconds of climbing were completely disabled. Ah, damn it. It feels like sitting and typing on a computer for 24 hours to do something for my dear friends to watch, and then they don't like it, making my arms and legs numb and out of control. Even though it's round and round, there's no ears, nose or mouth, but there's only his nose is disabled. He can still speak and can still hear the animals arguing. Now if he stops arguing and turns to bite him, he won't have any legs to run away. The worst thing is if the bird is still there. If any woodpecker scratches his itchy beak, he will die. Oh look, there are also planes in the sky, so it turns out that he is still in modern times. Maybe he is in some other world with the same civilization as the original world. While he was still recovering, he died from choking on water, and then turned into a dwarf tree at the bottom of society. He was dying, but two bees kept hovering back and forth, itching his eyes. Do you see any flowers on your body? If I don't slap you, you will think I'm joking. Saying that he did it, he threw the vine, and at the same time ordered us to keep our mouths shut. With one blow immediately ripped apart the two brown bees. It was quite scary. Also felt good. Now the system appeared. The announcement of the death of the two bees gives each sister an evolution point. Through the system, we know that the male lead's name is Wu Ziyu. In light translation, It probably means sleeping dead travels. Let's just call him Wuziyu. Mr. Wuziyu is currently a mutant willow tree with a lifespan of 1/25th, the only skill mutant vines. In addition, the system shows 2 ways to earn evolution points. The first is through photosynthesis every day, get 0.1 points. The second is through selling coffins to others. Each child calculates points depending on how much wood they spend. The name Wuziyu remains the same. The system asks if he wants to use evolution points. Wuziyu scratches his cold and doesn't know if he should scratch his chin. The system said that you can use 0.1 points to upgrade vines. Finally, there is a way to control the waste vines, but earning evolution points is not easy. Photosynthesis is a bit time-consuming. Bees are not every day. Also flew by, the surroundings were still dark and dangerous. You should feel lucky that it didn't grow in the park. If it had grown there, people would have probably dug it up and studied it. First, just use the 0.2 points just now to level up your skills. The number of vines that can be used has increased for 3 seconds. Wuziyu excitedly shouted and said, "It's no different from hacking." He declared that he was not afraid of anyone. The first customer he sold coffins to after leveling up was a nearby beehive. He swung vines aimed straight at the beehive. A beehive of that size must have hundreds of bees. Just opened a coffin shop and already has a lot of customers like this. Half a month has passed with no friends or friends. He diligently moves the vines. Not everyone who comes close to him. He breaks his neck to find a sign of progress. Whining, even though it's a bit lonely, but in exchange for 50 flexible vines. Use that rock to test its strength. First, he gathered the vines into a spiral drill with a sharp tip, then used the speed of an altar to poke towards the stone. The stone refused to avoid the flying smoke and dust. The drill stopped and still did not penetrate. Even though it hasn't penetrated the stone yet for a tree, the power of the blow just now is enough to create prestige. Any dog that hovers within reach will inject it into an addiction. It's been a month since it was hooked. The roots in this abyss, the more the ground is growing, the higher it is. Although still short, it is definitely the most dominant tree in this forest. The tree's roots still scrape the ground evenly every day. Previously, I was afraid that it would soon be chiseled by woodpeckers. Died. Now, he has become the boss of the forest and chews other people's heads to survive. In addition, his life expectancy is constantly increasing. Without any pests, he can live for a full 20 years with evolutionary points that quickly develop. Grow, one day will become a world tree reaching up to the sky. Wuziyu in the willow tree happily sings to become a tree that doesn't need to eat or drink, doesn't need to go to school, math, physics, chemistry, or the company to listen. The boss scolds too much. I think it's really fun, except I can't go anywhere, can't talk to anyone, can't surf Facebook, can't watch reviews, then everything is fine. I'm singing and loving life, then the message above his head, to the sound of birds chirping for food. A bird's nest. 8 birds are showing their beaks in protest. Wuziyu kills every bird that plays with him because of the evolution point. Why is there a nest of baby birds on his head like this? It turns out it was a few days ago. He replanting the white trees above their heads. The bird's nest accidentally fell from another tree and landed right on their heads. These kids are not only old but also defecate wildly. Solve the sadness straight to Wuziyu's head. These birds are probably kestrels. They are useless now when they are young, but when they grow up, they will become a group of cool birds 50 centimeters tall with a wingspan of up to 1 meter. Not only will they grow up big and beautiful, but they will also have great speed. Extremely terrible flying ability, surpassing even a jaguar. I wonder if it can surpass even the Flash. In general, it is very difficult to catch these birds when they grow large. The world that Wuziyu came to after his stupid death reeks of instability. There are mutated willow trees and possibly mutated banyan trees and guava trees. Not just trees, but animals can also mutate. In short, it is a dangerous world full of mutant things, completely different from Earth. The willow tree that Wuziyu entered has absolutely no ability to fight in the air. If you keep these unruly birds and then train them to work, then Wuziyu is no different from a tiger that has grown wings and has reincarnated. 1 month, other than having 50 more hands, he still hasn't made any progress. He doesn't know what to do next. After all, in a dangerous world full of dangers, the first goal is still to survive. takes you on a tour of this world. On the right is a group of bloodthirsty storm wolves. On the left are giant flying ants. Many, many ants. In front is a spider queen bigger than the mountain. At this rate, the world of Willow Tree definitely doesn't have any Spider-Man, because this spider doesn't bite. It swallows people whole. Behind is a squirrel. Hey, salary deduction. The camera guy is filming nonsense. If you pull the camera away a little bit, you'll see two black fingers pointing towards the little squirrel, squeezing the squirrel to death. It's not just two fingers. Now it's a whole big hand pulling the tree straight up. The owner of the big hand is a huge gorilla. It's putting the whole tree in its mouth. The poor tree. There are some more pitiful trees on this side. When they were cut in half, cut into thirds, into many parts, the tree corpses were lying along both sides of a long ditch. Not sure if it was a ditch or not, really a long stretch of sunken ground. What's scarier than a snake? It's a snake with a tail made of a sharp blade, plus another one on its head that's equally sharp. The ditch just now is the trail it walked through. This snake is a bit fat and then goes all the way to the ground. The weakest thing found after the squirrel was a white rabbit jumping around in the ditch created by the snake, and weak animals should not wander around. The rabbit jumped over the tree and then jumped on a Wuziu's vine. Its life is over. Wuziu received 0.6 evolution points for killing rabbits. Recently, it has been difficult to hunt wild animals. That's the thing. Of course, animals have very sharp survival instincts. The area around the willow tree has probably long been marked as a dangerous area for these guys. Only the rabbit today must have traveled from somewhere else. So I don't know. The end result was that Wuziu used a vine to hold it out in front of the birds. It took forever to find food for the children. Because he was hungry, he cried loudly, and then he had to tear it apart and stuff it into each bird's throat. They were still young, but Wuziu dropped the rabbit straight into the middle of the bird's nest. The birds rushed in and devoured the prey, splattering flesh and blood. Wait, are these baby birds? What kind of food do you eat? Adult birds don't eat like us. Wuziu looks up and looks like he's eating. Doesn't he hate it? The problem is that birds don't eat like that. Not whether they're cute or not. Notification system completing the photosynthesis process receives 0.1 evolution point. Now it has finally reached 1 point and the vines have all been lifted. Now it will be the root lift. Next is the tree trunk. The system displays the number of evolved vines 50/50. It's easy to grow 0.9. The tree trunk only needs to be raised once, but Wuziu did not expect that to evolve. The roots also need to use progress points. Transformation. It's funny and scary to say anything that doesn't require money. Money is given to you to scoop up. The 9 tree roots definitely have important abilities, so they need evolution points to upgrade. Wuziu began to be paranoid about the prospect of books being able to run around easily in the future. Makes me feel happy just thinking about it. Use an evolution point to raise the first root. The selected root begins to react. The first feeling is that it hurts. Wuziu cried loudly. Tears and nose running all over. He also had a nose. But I can't smell it, I just have a runny nose. Wuziu painfully raised all the vines up into the sky. Underneath the tree roots were rolling out of the ground. He didn't know what the hell was going on. He only knew that the current pain was worse than childbirth. He struggled, causing the birds to stir in chaos. The pain finally stopped. The ground cracked open. Wuziu breathed heavily, feeling like an electric drill was being pressed into his body. Just thinking about it makes me sweat. Get used to it. I still have 8 more roots to enjoy. He used his strength to pull the newly upgraded root out of the ground. Do not endure pain in vain. The root is both big, long, and flexible. It's quite reasonable to calculate the cost of 1 point. The vines and roots all operate according to reason. Wuziu wondered if the tree trunk was the same. If he thought about it, he would do it. Let's try it. He braced himself and tried to pull his body out of the ground, but the response to this foolish move was a blinding pain. He screamed and his body felt like it was about to break until the pain was worse than before. When I move the roots, the pain is worse than the pain of giving birth. It's probably as painful as the feeling when my brothers are kicked. I'm not at liberty to say, haha. Well, forget about the previous incident. In short, he still cannot move. He needs to evolve the remaining 8 roots and the tree trunk to know if he can move or not. The body that hugs his round face is like his heart and must be carefully protected. It's not too difficult for him. Wuziu can turn himself into a strong fortress. First, hide this tree root so it looks like a normal tree root. The problem now is where to find points to upgrade all these roots and trunk. I just spent all the accumulated points for the first root and have to earn points again from the beginning. Suddenly there was a noise coming from the bushes nearby. He entered combat mode and raised 2 vines in front of him, like a human would raise his arms in a martial arts stance when faced with danger, ready to receive anyone who came out of the bushes. Waited forever and no one came out. Wuziu poked through the bushes and discovered a baby fox who was seriously injured. He didn't know if he was dead or not. I thought someone was attacking. Suddenly, there was a fox lying here, which surprised him a bit. He used a vine to explore the fox and was startled by its moans. Turns out he wasn't dead. He scratched his chin and thought that the black wound was probably poisoned. Killing the fox will give you more evolution points, but the system won't accept it if it's seriously injured like this. Killing injured animals that are about to die will not give you points. If you don't know how to calculate the right amount, the system will notify you that the liquid in the vines can heal wounds and even remove toxins and stop bleeding. But after using it, the vine will return to its discarded state. Why didn't you say that in the first place? Now it's good. Wuzi raised the vine and looked at it. If you think like this, use the vines to save the fox. When it gets better, kill it yourself and you'll get points. Once you get points, lift the vines again and feed the body to the birds. Oh my God, so evil. If you're not evil, then who is? If you don't love, please don't give hope. But in terms of benefits, the way he came up with was an extremely optimal way. Wuziu let the vines drip the liquid onto the fox's body, drop by drop to the system that identifies poisonous creatures to detoxify. At the same time curing the creature back to health, Wuziu happily felt like he had just become the male protagonist in The Benevolent Doctor. The fox was healthy again, and the number of vines -1. Looking closely, this fox was not a fox. A fox is normal, but it's not surprising. In this world, there's nothing normal in this world. He plays the role of a doctor. Next, he plays the role of a hunter. He aimed several vines at the same time at the fox with the intention of killing the baby. It died immediately, but the innocent fox that had just been saved looked at him with sparkling red eyes. If it knew that the person who had just saved it intended to kill it, it would have run away, but it didn't know that it would continue. As he approached, he waved and rubbed against the willow tree. Around it were still some vines pointing at him. Wuziu was surprised and shouted, "Don't get close to me. Don't think that if you show your pain, you will be forgiven." The new point is important. Seriously, the fox continued to rub against his body with an amused expression. His eyes softened, then his face turned red as well. Wuziu used the vine to pick up the fox and say the unimportant point. He had to caress his roots like this, maybe because he hadn't been in contact with anything that felt so close for so long. Suddenly became a lonely tree. Now he has such a happy company. Those crazy birds on his head don't count. They just scream for food and then defecate on his face, holding it up to see his face. What a new baby. Ruby's eyes. The fur is so soft. She was looking at it when the fox, with a glowing fox, Wuziu screamed. Whoever threw the flash was so stupid. He squinted one eye. The system announced, "The fox has evolved thanks to the fluid from the vines. This system is only good at delivering information slowly." What is evolution? It's like this. The little fox that was wearing fiery fur. His demeanor is a bit different and not as cute as before. According to the parameters given by the system, this fox is a red wolf. It's hard to understand. The red wolf has reached level 4. Its special skill is enchanting eyes, and pet evolution is no different from a Pokemon trainer. Wuziu was extremely excited. He was busy looking at his appearance after evolving, so he only now noticed the parameter table that the system gave him. Level E. Is that a rank? I didn't pay attention before. Let's open the status panel, even though I don't understand how to evaluate the system's level. But the willow tree itself is at stage 9, currently 5 levels higher than the red wolf. No, I suspect that the epidemic from the vines also has the ability to make animals evolve. The higher the stage, the clearer the ability. In general, the epidemic from the willow tree can spread mutations, just like an infectious disease, right? But instead of causing infected creatures to die, it makes them become pro-VIP. More importantly, thanks to this level, it is possible to clearly see the power gap between yourself and the enemy. which can later be climbing the rank higher and higher. I finally feel like my life as a tree is like other isekai male protagonists. What do you say? I see that their main male protagonists are only isekai by truck. No one chokes on water like you. Wait, why are you running here to be a human who hunts for fur? The wound just now seemed to have been caused by an arrow. So who pulled out the arrow? Thinking back, I haven't met any humans since my reincarnation. Who can play with in the realm of reincarnation? Thinking about it makes me feel terrible. If I encounter a logger, I have to kill him immediately. Otherwise, before I'm strong enough, I just pretend to be a good tree. With the right thinking, everyone who meets me will brag that the tree can talk. Sooner or later, it will happen. Let's go to the museum. Suddenly, the red wolf looked up as if he had discovered something. Then he immediately launched himself in the direction he was looking at. Wu Ziyu looked into the distance and shouted at someone. Coming from afar were two village girls. At first glance, they were definitely good people. They carried fruit along with a bucket full of water and headed towards the willow tree. How could you two go down into a 1,000-meter deep abyss like this? In general, when a human appears, they must immediately hide the egg. Because why is there any tree that has a round egg spinning in the middle of its trunk? Wu Ziyu wondered why there were humans in this place. The two girls looked at the willow tree and called out. Wu Ziyu silently closed the trunk of the tree. The two girls said, "Next, we're here to visit Dad." What the hell? Wu Ziyu shouted in his head. When did he ever have a wife and children? Don't start asking to get to know me when you see that I'm handsome. You two, the problem will be solved immediately. It became clear when the two girls lit 3 incense sticks under the willow tree. It turned out that the fruit from earlier was an offering. They clasped their hands together to pray, and it happened that they buried their heads and brought their father to the foot of the willow tree. Wu Ziyu felt something was wrong. The two girls clasped their hands and prayed for a long time. Then the younger sister grabbed the apple from the pile of offerings. She and no one asked you guys to sit here and eat something. Oh, after eating, the younger sister pulled the older sister together to take a bath. These two girls must be terrible. Why go home and take a bath? Going down a dangerous cliff just to take a bath. I heard about girls taking each other to the bath. Wu Ziyu poked his head out. After all, I'm still a man. Even if I'm a tree, I'm still a man. How could I miss this rare opportunity? You've already taken off your clothes and jumped into the water, and you're still shy. Dare to come down. But after that, I slowly took off my clothes and soaked myself in the water. The water was cold, but this scene was too hot. I don't like scenes like this. I swear it's a beautiful scene that everyone can see. Only main character cannot see it. While the two sisters were playing, the trunk of the willow tree trembled. Damn it! Wu Ziyu was so angry that he gritted his teeth. Who the hell planted those trees in front of your father? It wasn't a sister but a you two. The male lead is not allowed to look at either of you. Wait a minute, beauties. Wait for me to change position. He just perverted, bro. Wu Ziyu was stimulated by the desire to watch a pretty girl take a bath and exert her strength to move the willow tree. His reward was a writhing pain that made him scream like he was being tortured. After screaming, he turned to crying, not because of the physical pain, but because he couldn't watch the girl take a bath. Night fell and the red wolf slept soundly on the rock. Wu Ziyu also tightly closed the mouth of the tree. Finally, the two village girls left. He opened his eyes and silently thought to himself not to come back here again. He wasted all the effort in hiding and in the process of crying because he couldn't see the fairyland. Of course I don't want my younger sisters to come back. The older sister suddenly cried out. She seemed to have forgotten something. Then she put on a gentle face and softly said that we would come back to visit Dad. Wu Ziyu blushed so much that she called Dad. If you like people calling you Dad, then don't want to watch them take a bath anymore. I couldn't watch it just now. It could also be God's will. A week passed and the peaceful canyon began to show signs of being less peaceful. An eagle screamed loudly in the sky. It was in a fight. Its opponents were 8 third-stage kestrels, all 8 of which were rushing in as fast as bullets. They rushed straight at the huge eagle. The eagle retracted its wings to protect its head and belly. After the falcon's attack ended, it emerged. You can tell by looking at the dangerous ingredients, and this mutated eagle is only 2 years old but already possesses terrifying fighting skills. First was the eagle's shrill cry towards the large flock of kestrels, but the continuous sound waves emitted from its beak caused the kestrels to turn around. From behind, the red wolf eagle rushed to rescue the kestrels with a swipe of its wings. The red wolf was still in stage 4 like when it first evolved. After the scrape, the eagle was slightly shocked. Then it used its large leg full of sharp claws to grab the red wolf. One leg could grab the red wolf and squeeze the wolf's bones so tightly that it broke its bones. After catching it, it launched itself to the ground with the force of a powerful rush. The sound was like an explosion. The smoke and dust dissipated. Under the eagle's claws, the red wolf was gaping with its bloody head. The triumphant eagle was about to carve the red wolf when it discovered danger was approaching. Attracting its gaze was a pregnant willow tree that was emitting a strange light. It screamed threateningly, and before it could close its beak, the willow tree poked it with a frontal blow, causing its hair to fall out. The eagle died immediately after just one blow. This eagle was definitely not a normal eagle, it was a stage 7 mutant. The willow tree that the male protagonist entered was only stage 9. The system adds 70 points after destroying the eagle. After Wuziu let the kestrels drink the liquid from the vines, the birds became less useless. They became much more mature, and the red wolf also stuck to him after saving him. So there is a herd of extremely useful pets. The eagle that just killed it has been trying to kill the willow tree's egg for a week and only managed to kill it today. Wuziu thought that he should hide his presence to avoid attracting more monsters to cause trouble. Today's egret is only at stage 7, and it's already so difficult. In return, the ones at a higher stage, the male lead will definitely die. Need to be stronger. This canyon does not lack many stronger than willow trees. You must be careful. Not only the willow tree but also the pets need to be strong in the future. Even if you release them to bite people, you won't be afraid of being bitten back. The birds that have reached stage 3 of the pet wolves will reach stage 4. Now it is considered effective. After evolution, I don't know how powerful it will be. The kids today performed very well. Open your throat. Let me give you some milk. It's delicious. Please eat it. After eating, not only will you be full, but you will also be able to level up. So any child will crave it. But not everywhere sells chemicals. Many children are so addicted that they have to steal from others. Like in this case, while feeding a pet. A blow fell from the sky so fast that you couldn't see clearly, only seeing a streak of yellow light passing by, aiming straight at the willow tree. Careful, Wuziu shouted. I saw the attack just bombard an entire area of forest with terrible power, causing smoke and dust to rise higher than the cliff. The dust and smoke began to fly away, revealing an egg with 2 glowing eyes. Even though Wuziu quickly used tree roots to fend it off, half of Wuziu's foliage was chopped off. The cut was so sweet that even the roots of a large tree were torn off, let alone the foliage of a willow tree. Last time I tried to move the trunk, I was in excruciating pain. I wonder how painful it would be to lose a whole piece of branch. The system continuously reports damage. The children who came to get milk from the willow tree today are not only baby eagle, but also baby snake. On baby snake's head, there was also a tail blade that was tightly wrapped around the willow branch that had just been cut. It raised its tail holding a willow branch to reveal a sharp axe blade at the end of its tail. It turned out that it used this axe blade to split the tip of the willow branch to openly steal a chemical milk source. The problem is, how did Wuziu not notice such a big and powerful snake? Is it because he defeated the eagle earlier and let his guard down? Or is it because this snake girl knows how to hide her existence? It's extremely natural for snakes to suddenly come out and kill their prey. It's the snake's instinct. I just didn't expect it to be as big as this baby snake and still be able to hunt it down. Wuziu was extremely nervous. He asked the system to open the snake's information, and the system told him that the baby snake in front of him was not ordinary. It had reached the ripe stage with a completely hidden passive. In addition to its damnable internals, it also has jaws that can bite through steel and an axe blade that cuts through everything. This baby snake is no different from the little woodcutter. It is stronger than willow tree altogether. Unfortunately, you can't even go see a girl bathing, let alone run away. Besides direct combat, the final path is death. Wuziu was extremely nervous when facing the snake. The red wolf is even more tense. It opened its mouth and cursed the snake. Remember, the baby red wolf has only reached stage 4. According to the program Animal World, wild species know how to smell danger and run away in time. This little pig doesn't run. Maybe she has COVID-19 and her nose is clogged. Little pig glared and growled. Remember, before being bitten by a baby snake, Wu Ziyu gave her milk to save her. It turned out that he was annoyed by the snake because of an old enemy and also partly afraid that the snake would bite his master to death, so he did not run away. The snake ignores Little Pink. Does that rag dog want to threaten me too? Wait until Mrs. sniffed the grass and then you will deal with your master and servant, Little Snake said. He brought the willow branch to his mouth. Oh God, it was so fresh and delicious. He immediately put it in his mouth and chewed it. Wu Ziyu looked at it and broke out in a cold sweat. Oh my God, son of a bitch, eating half of mine and looking like she was enjoying it. Baby Snake, after sniffing the grass, he couldn't stand the high anymore, so he rushed to the willow tree, planning to have another piece to satisfy his addiction. Wu Ziyu ordered the pets to step back. The snake plunged its axe-bladed head straight into the willow tree. Whichever blow it delivered, smoke and dust flew everywhere. After that iron headshot, the snake felt a bit strange. It's not like cutting down a tree. How can I cut it? Who gives me the permission to cut it? Wu Ziyu used an evolution point to unlock another root and used 2 roots to block Baby Snake's axe. But it's not easy because Baby Snake is extremely strong. The axe's blade is already ironed. Only reluctance can block it. It is vicious snake. You are also at this stage and you dare to dance fire in front of me. It's just that you're bigger than me. If you were as short as me, I'd slap you to death. Now if I'm not as tall, I'll stand up on the chair and slap him. Hearing the curse, Little Snake immediately raised his chest and swung his tail to slash Wu Ziyu's throat to ease the chaos. Wu Ziyu unlocked another root, making it 3. Use the roots to wrap around Baby Snake's body. Don't think you're not a snake and don't know how to wrap it. Mister, this is a terrestrial octopus. Wu Ziyu used all his strength to open all the tree roots. It's definitely very painful, but it's better than death. Like a cornered rat, it jumps over the wall. If the tree cannot stand humiliation, it will be uprooted. The willow tree's surroundings were exposed. All 9 roots broke out of the ground. If you die, Baby Snake, I will use these roots to poke your body. Wu Ziyu gathered his strength and shouted, "Get out of my territory." As he finished speaking, the tree roots stuck straight into the snake's body. It opened its mouth and screamed, then spit blood. Wu Ziyu glared up in shock. Even though that blow still couldn't penetrate the snake's skin. Truth, or is it a dream? Little Snake cut the willow tree like it cut a banana, but the willow tree put all its strength into it and only peeled off a piece of skin. The stage of maturity was the same, and God loved it and hated it. From the part where the male lead choked to death, I knew the male lead was a stepchild. Even though it couldn't penetrate, Baby Snake still felt pain. His mouth was full of blood. He stared at the willow tree. How terrible. But don't let it know you're afraid of it. If one attack doesn't work, try another. Wu Ziyu moved his roots, ready to fight. Little Snake also boldly tried to rush in and kill himself, but then by some force he thought and turned his head away, then leave. Is this Baby Snake a Libra or something? So erratic. The willow tree gathered the vines back, just a little closer. Damn it. The egg cracked and fell to the ground. Wu Ziyu was still as tense as a string. Just now I thought I was about to die, but luckily the snake sulked and went away. At that time, if he showed fear, he chewed the male lead's head like a cauliflower. The battle devastated the entire area. The area around the willow tree became empty. From the position of the willow tree, the snake's body was still imprinted. Just now, making sure that the incident just wasn't a nightmare, the pets approached to ask about Willow Tree's health. Wu Ziyu said it was okay, but many stars appeared in his mind. The first reason is to let Baby Snake run. Later, he will definitely crave milk and come back. The second star is realizing that I am too weak to do anything, let alone protect the pets. A bunch of stars cannot suddenly become stronger after a short period of time. But that baby snake will definitely evolve after sniffing the grass. If we don't change our current strength, the next time we meet will not be to get to know each other like today, but to send Wu Ziyu back to hell. The tree had been chewed, and half of the egg was cracked. No matter how it looked, it didn't look right. Right at a deadlock, the system said you can rank up by spending 10 evolution points. Do you want to evolve? Ask without asking. This system is all about letting people experience it before giving instructions, which is very rude. If I die, who else will I guide? Wu Ziyu screamed and immediately knew that he could raise his rank, but he didn't report it. I see that he is crazy. naturally makes me wonder. After today, there will be more crazy children coming to look for his milk, but he will wring every child's neck because what happened today will definitely not happen again. Upgrade your rank too. What are you waiting for? There are more than 60 points. The evolution process begins. The light emitted by the system is almost blinding. Robbed tree trunks begin to be replaced by the system. Vines too. Evolve and then evolve again. Non-stop. That is the only way to survive in this world, to continuously grow stronger. Whoever is strong is the one with the truth. The wind blew in waves from the direction of the willow tree, wanting to blow the red wolf away. Wuziyu will evolve continuously to become a great tree. Today is the first evolution that begins the path to future existence. The pets gathered together to watch their owners change their skin. The brilliant halo dazzled the entire forest. The scene was similar to when Wuziyu first entered the willow tree, but a little brighter, and the light is green. The evolutionary process ends. The willow tree has lush branches and leaves, and the egg is not missing any pieces. The appearance of the willow tree has changed a lot, bigger and more scary. Currently, the willow tree has reached rank 1, increasing its maximum lifespan from 20 to 200 years. Wuziyu looked up and saw that the entire tree had been restored. Not only that, the trunk is also a bit fatter. What are you looking at, these pets? The red wolf has reached stage 7, and the birds have also increased to stage 5. Extremely different appearance. They are influenced by the brilliant aura of willow tree evolution. Wuziyu ordered the birds to search for baby snake's whereabouts. They immediately dash away like Pikachu. Wuziyu was also startled. What kind of bird flies like a bullet? Except the ability to puncture other creatures. No need to pierce other children. The whole flock flying in a basic path around it also made the others dizzy and faint 360 degrees. Not only the red wolves also became much stronger. Looking so mature, it's already completely cute, ha ha ha. Wuziyu felt full of vitality. Open the system right away and see if it's hot. Get to rank 1 and your skills will definitely change. Before I could consider anything, I was interrupted by screaming, "Save us!" The two girls ran headlong. Some were still injured. Behind them the dust was everywhere, not knowing what was chasing them, only knowing that it was very terrible. These are the two illegitimate children of the male lead. They kept their promise to return to visit their father. Not only that, but also brought all the animals with them. However, this conference of all species is not very friendly. The two lost children ran and cried, not knowing how beautiful they were, but the animals chased after them, asking for autographs as numerous as the Mongol army. Sisters, don't be too fake. These crazy beasts were attracted by the energy emitted when the willow tree evolved and rushed here. Are you different, or are you different? Of course, it's you. Now these animals are just a tonic for you. Eagle or baby snake, he would kill them all. Let alone this bunch of trash. The willow tree radiates murderous aura, showing its overwhelming power. The buffalo-headed and horse-faced crowd rushed towards the two girls. The wild boar was close to the two sisters' buttocks. I'm about to die. A huge explosion filled dust as far as the eye could see, blowing both sisters away. The two of them turned around and looked back, closed their beaks. There's so much dust. Why are you opening your throat? The explosion just now was not caused by a pig goring, but by a pig being gored. The dust and smoke cleared, and the red wolf stepped on the carcass of a pig 3 or 4 times larger than him. The red wolf turned his head to look, indicating peace of mind. 2 children. But the eyes were so affectionate that the 2 sisters screamed out of fear. Do you think you're still cute or something? Fox named Wolf. The crazy animals rushed towards the red wolf, intending to bully the weak, but each of them had their skulls pierced. The falcons had returned to the red wolf's side, and now the 2 girls realized they were being protected. The crazy beasts don't dare to move forward anymore. Ah, the kids, step aside and give me the stage. You have to show these animals who is the boss. Wuziyu crowd and pulled up the roots of the willow tree. Are these animals trying to joke with you? I'll show you all how to be polite. All the roots and vines swung up towards the crazy animals. The 2 children fell unconscious on the spot. Wuziyu raised his voice to praise the beast's attack on them. They roared and roared, then all at once rushed into the tree roots. The leopard volunteered first and was immediately killed by Wuziyu. Blood splashed onto the egg. In Wuziyu's eyes, these beasts were just a bunch of walking spots. The leopard is followed by a fat hippo. This one is 50 points. This mouse is 20 points. This rhinoceros is 30 points. This and that one more. After all, they are mutated beasts, so they also have their own skills. For example, this bat dodges well. Also knows how to use negative reinforcement to stun for a moment. Quite good. But it's still very young and green. Everyone will be gone in one go. Followed by this crazy cow. The poke was earth-shattering, but it couldn't hit the cow's head. He flexed his butt muscles and inhaled his butt muscles to somehow block this blow. It seemed like some animals were not very wasteful. You should choose a few to keep at rays. Wu Ziyu used a stick to catch a few animals. The selected children have the right to live, while the others are allowed to live in the next life. He brutally murdered people. After this incident, he must be very rich. Harvest from morning to night before resting. Wu Ziyu pulled the selected children back. The most important thing was done. What to do next with these two fainting illegitimate children? Let the two sisters leave because they are afraid that revealing their whereabouts will put themselves in danger. Killing the two of them is no different than animals. After the villagers did not see them return, they would go looking for them, and eventually the army might come too. Maybe he'll be locked up in a zoo so the government can visit him and show him around. You're lucky if you go to the zoo, but if you go to a museum, you'll die. He suddenly had an idea that he hoped would succeed. The older sister slowly opened her eyes. The first sight she saw was an extremely creepy, gloomy tree. She screamed loudly, waking up her younger brother. Wu Ziyu brought out the sharp root and the two children fell, hugging each other tightly, crying loudly. It's good to have the ability to scream, but when I see you, I faint and let the tree do whatever it wants, but it can't resist. Did Wu Ziyu swing the root and choose to be the bastard to kill? Oh no, it turned out that he used roots to write words on the ground. Fortunately, he was not illiterate in his previous life, so he can write a few words now. Hey Dad, the two girls came out and stared at the willow tree. What is this reaction? Please believe my lies. I'm really your father. Just now I saved you two from danger. Believe it, let people be happy. Wu Ziyu glared. If you don't believe it, you can only be a bad person and kill it to smooth things over. The younger sister couldn't help but scream, "What is my name?" Oh no! Change the sentence to a more difficult one. What is my biggest secret? Who knows? We don't know, but the system knows. The person with the hair tied is 14-year-old Xiaoling. Wow, I'm secretly in love with the guy from the next village. The one with loose hair named Xiaoking is also 14 years old and has given up studying to work to take care of his family. These two kids are twins. Once you know it, just write it down. You like tourists from the next village, right? The little girl screamed because she was embarrassed. Suddenly she asked and revealed her secret. The older sister laughed and the younger one screamed, "No, I don't like him." Stop holding your tongue and you'll know right away. Don't deny it. This embarrassing story is what my younger sister only told her father, and her older sister doesn't even know about it. That's right, Dad. That's right, Dad. Let's see. Wu Ziyu used a vine to give the two fallen children two wands made from willow stems. The purpose is to have no purpose at all. Can you go crazy? If you can't bear it, you can't bear it. Wu Ziyu ponders that humans are inherently an emotional species, so they are very afraid of losing loved ones. Their father is buried under this willow tree, and they will consider this their destiny. That father may be part of what makes Wu Ziyu appear here. He placed the vines on Xiaoking's head and turned closely to notice that this girl's eyes were black. Must be very tired. Wu Ziyu thanked and apologized on behalf of their father. Xiaoking burst into tears. How come I know how to speak but what was written in the article at the beginning? Two people and a willow tree in the middle of the night are in sync with each other's emotions. Maybe because the father's body and soul had also merged into the willow body. Probably so at night, the falcon and the red wolf obediently sat quietly next to the willow tree. Xiaoking reported the world situation to his father. Starting 2 months ago, suddenly there were many strange mutations occurring in animals on Earth. Mutated beasts attack humans. The cause of this, reported by the media, is because matter appears in the air that causes creatures to evolve. It's like spirituality or magic. Wu Ziyu never thought the world would have so many changes. Xiaoking said at first she didn't believe it, but now she believes it, because her father has entered the willow tree and is talking to her right now. She turned around with a warm smile. The egg lump turned red all over its face. It's really embarrassing. The older sister was gentle and understanding while the younger sister was a bit hyperactive and didn't know what to think, so she went to feed the wolf in the cage. I still remember how they chase you, and I see that, my sister. The wolves don't know the chawing at all. They show their unfriendly attitudes on their faces. If you stick their hands in, they will bit their hands. Can you believe it? Suddenly looming behind Hicholing were bright eyes. The red wolf glared at the wolves in the cage. They were so scared they would pee that they didn't dare say a word. Obediently ate the food Hicholing gave her. This girl is so brave that she's not afraid of Little Pink's red wolf anymore and treats her like her best friend. Just now, the sweep caught 4 wolves. Hicholing doesn't seem afraid. They don't have to worry much either. There is Little Pink guarding Hicholing. In addition to the 4 wolves, there is also a white dog. A little hoe released will definitely cause chaos. The buffalo that just blocked the blow from the tree root was very gentle and even let people lie on it to sleep. Just now, he went to a protest to follow the crowd or something. There was also the big honey badger who was still struggling like crazy and making a lot of noise. It's true that buffalo children are famous in the animal world for not knowing anything about fear. Well, let's deal with it later. Now open the system to check your strength. There are 149 evolutionary points for vines and tree roots, all of which have been unlocked. The new thing is that there is an additional hidden passive of tree system players with the ability to self-heal, in addition to the new skill Fog Shield that helps hide and the illusion skill that causes hallucinations when in the fog. This skill set is very suitable for acting in ghost movies. The game has now officially begun. Although still at rank 1, the skills that have been evolved have been fully unlocked and can continue to be upgraded to become stronger. The new thing is that there is an additional hidden passive of tree players with the ability to self-heal. Currently, he has up to 149 evolution points to increase his speed, in addition to the new Fog Shield skill that helps hide his body and the illusion skill that causes hallucinations when in the fog. Wu Ziyu really likes this new skill set. It's so cool, very suitable for filming ghost movies. If there are no difficulties, it is almost completely hidden, using 20 points to unlock it. The skill activates glowing vines from the foliage, emitting a mist like cigarette smoke. Hallucinations are not rare. Smoking papaya leaves also causes hallucinations. The valuable thing here is the layer of mist that is gradually spreading out. In just a moment, the mist has covered everywhere, making Wu Ziyu remember the feeling he had when traveling before. In this scene, are you going on a trip to the underworld or something? I'm only 1 year old, and I'm already so domineering. How terrible the future will be. I remember the little snake we fought with earlier. Now that I can find it, I immediately stir-fry it with chili salad. But after frying it and then bringing a bunch of crazy animals to rush at it, it's tiring. Surely baby snake must die painfully, but not today. First, you have to make sure that there is no one around that is too strong. Just at the right time, it will immediately kill the baby snake. Visibility suddenly decreased to less than 1 kilometer. Hicholing and the red fox got confused. Ruffle your feathers. Be alert. Calm down. I'm right behind you two. The illusion skill seems to be stronger the closer you are to the willow tree, to avoid letting your 2 children inhale too much fog. Wu Ziyu ordered the red wolf to lead the 2 down the mountain. Before they left, he told them not to reveal what happened today. The red fox carried the 2 sisters on its back and quickly galloped away. For the 2 girls, what happened today was unbelievable. In the morning, being taken away by animals. In the evening, being taken back by animals. Riding on the back of a red wolf is like flying over the forest, an extremely enjoyable feeling. The older sister touched the silky fur on the red wolf's head and softly said, "Thank you." The red fox resembles its owner and is praised by girls. She smiles happily. The fog shield is ready. The 2 illegitimate children were also taken away. Now the second evolution begins. Start with 50 vines, then roots. Finally, 2 new skills, a long stretch of abyss surrounded by dense fog. As a result, that night the monsters in the 10 kilometers radius around the willow tree heard the whispers of the rocks. Their survival instinct tells them that a dangerous creature is rising. A tyrant could lead them later. It was difficult for light to glimmer through the fog to signal that dawn had come. Beneath the row of large trees is an image of an extremely powerful willow tree. Evolution didn't finish until morning. In front of the wolf cage, An animal stomped its foot so hard that it cracked the ground, attracting the attention of the wolves. The animal roared loudly, making the wolves quiet. Why do I think this animal looks a bit like Little Pink? That animal is exactly Little Pink in the wolves' imagination. Because they were too close, they had the illusion of barking like crazy. Wu Ziyu's new skill makes them no different from using stimulants. The wolves barked and gave me a headache. Both the fog shield and illusion skills have been raised to level 2, so they are so effective. Not only the wolves, the gentle cow from just now was also immersed in illusory love and ran around laughing. Always speechless. Upgrading skills here is enough. If it's not enough, you can't lift it anymore, because now there are only 24 evolution points left. Hidden passive recovery requires 50 points. The roots of the willow tree have penetrated more than 100 meters deep, touching the underground water below. Through the roots, one can clearly feel the energy being pumped in from within the ground. 100 meters underground there is a river, including a cave of unknown structure. Should we call the river below Spiritual River? What does it have to do with the two spiritual words that gave it that name? Is it morning already? The roots must be hidden immediately. Wu Ziyu stabbed each root into the ground, hiding the roots and making a loud noise, afraid that no one would know or something. The kestrel sent to look for baby snake have returned. It screamed at the egg. Wu Ziyu nodded. Is that so? I heard it too, but I don't understand. Maybe because I'm not the owner of the birds. I don't understand. In short, the snake could not be found. It seemed that the poke at that time was too light. Baby snake still had strength, so he ran very fast. Find it at all costs. The snake girl who has consumed half a set of vines containing chemical milk will definitely seek out her addiction. The wolves kept screaming loudly because of baby snake's incident. Wu Ziyu brought up the climbing rope and hit the 3 children in one go. Close your beak and don't let me get hot. The act of abusing pets was seen and condemned by 2 daughters. Oh my God! Why are you guys back so early? If you're late, you'll probably defeat the wolves. Old man Hixioking crawled into the wolf cage, causing Wu Ziyu to panic. This is very dangerous. Hixioking used towels to bandage the wolves. At first, they growled in disapproval, but Hixioking wholeheartedly took care of them, so the wolves obediently remained silent. This Wu Ziyu cannot do. In the past, it was probably possible, but after going through near-death experiences, Wu Ziyu's personality also changed a bit. While still shocked to see the silent wolves, he was shocked to see Hixioling fighting over a piece of dried beef with the honey badger boss. Fighting over a piece of dried beef in front of a cow. Truly cruel. But when can Big Brother come out? Grab your neck immediately. This time I had to tie his hands to feel secure. The wire next to it has been bitten and torn. The honey badger was truly formidable in the hands of a monster willow tree that was still struggling and howling continuously. Hixioling gave a portion of dried beef to Big Badger. Both of us chewed happily. The only unhappy person here is the cow. The gangster lives a reputation of reciprocity. It gave Hixioling 2 tree seeds. Probably edible. Hixioling happily accepted it. Then Hixioling turned and gave the cow an apple. Probably to comfort the spirit. The monkey also cried incessantly, wanting to eat. Wu Ziyu looked at the scene of his illegitimate children playing with the animals. The animals also happily welcomed them. Suddenly I felt the need to reconsider myself, but I didn't expect them to be close to each other. It's also true that humans are very good at training animals. Perhaps Wu Ziyu himself was too rigid. Since coming to this world, I have had to constantly be vigilant, so I doubt everything that catches my eye. Wu Ziyu feels he should also relax more. While he enjoyed the peace of life in a nearby cave, there was a glowing eye. Our baby snake's eyes. Not only eyes, but baby snake also has an entire jaw full of sharp fangs. Before I bite, I'd already feel pain. Thinking about the future, life doesn't seem to be peaceful at all. The village of Hixioking and Hixioling is roofed with bright red tiles amid the green mountains. The 2 girls today, like yesterday, happily called each other to hurry up the mountain. The village grandfather advised the 2 of them to stop going to the mountains. It's very dangerous. But neither of them wanted to believe it. The woodcutter saw that since father passed away, they hadn't laughed so happily. So let them have fun. Grandpa still wasn't worried. You can play anywhere, so why run to the mountains to play? But I don't know why I worked so hard to climb the mountain, because someone pretending to be their father just sneezed right away. How do trees know they have a cold? Obviously defeigned. That's why itchy nose and sneezing. Wu Ziyu looked around a large area but could not see the red wolf. It's only been half a month, but the red wolf has already gotten used to picking up Wu Ziyu's two illegitimate children. Being close to a girl is better than being close to a master. The red wolf saw the movement, and the two sisters ran to where Hecholing was still hugging him enthusiastically. No matter how much he liked to pick her up, the two got on the back of the red wolf and raced back to Willow Tree. King felt that Hecholing was a bit in danger today and kept smiling all this time. Hecholing handed out a smelly box-shaped package. It's not fish sauce. That's pure human feces, even boasting about how hard it was to get it. Bring it to your father today to enjoy. He will love it very much. Probably so. Surely he must be so happy that he uproots himself to kneel and worship his beloved daughter. I just noticed that in the village, the sky was still clear, but when we reached the mountain, it was so gloomy. Know why? Because there's a little snake standing here. It's still swinging the tail of the axe. Everyone knows what it's doing. Only after standing all this time did the red wolf and the two sisters notice. She was so upset that baby snake had to fight her. The hit was very light, so only blood splattered and screams were lost. Probably okay. On that side, they met old friends, and on this side, a few little falcons were using their thunder breath to fly chaotically in the sky, leading a flock of mutated bees to the willow tree. What kind of bee is ugly and ferocious, but also very aggressive? Being rude like this requires spanking. The tree root shot up high and said to hit him in the ass, but Wu Ziyu preferred to hit him directly in the face. Every time you poke, you get hit. It took me forever to lure the bees here. Since you come here, then obediently become a point of evolution. The egg glared, then used the vines to swing continuously at the bees. After killing the bees, he was so happy that he laughed like he had a good harvest. The kestrel perched on a branch and cried out loudly. Laugh less, old man. Pay us our salaries immediately. Okay, I know, I've raised you guys since you didn't have any hair, but now you're so deceitful. Open your throat and I'll give each of you a drop. No need to fight. It's not a waste of time to have them talk to your face in the past. Now they've all reached stage 7. Much stronger than before. Next is to use evolution points to upgrade the roots to level 2. It costs 100 points, which is a bit much, but keeping the points won't help you buy stocks to get rich, so you decide to raise them. Clicking the button to accept the upgrade will take effect immediately, losing 100 points and also giving birth pain. Tree roots burst out of the ground. The old bark cracks and crumbles, revealing new shiny black roots. Wu Ziyu's new roots are big, long, black, and hairy. I'm describing the roots, which look very strong and a bit disgusting. Perhaps Romus is afraid of insects, but the hairs protruding from the main root branch make the whole set look like a large black centipede. The cow stood still. The wolves were also silent. Even Big Brother Honey Badger was shocked. The egg was sweating profusely. Every time I evolved, the roots hurt so much that I wanted to cry, but it wasn't so painful that I wanted to die, so the last time I fought with the snake, it activated all the roots without any harm. It was also painful, but it could be said that the evolution was beyond Wu Ziyu's imagination. He used the vine to rub his chin. Now level 1 beasts are not your opponents. Take a practice test to know how prestigious level 2 is.